gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.
I haven't used that intro in ages.
I think we're good though. I think we're live this time.
I think we're live. I think it's actually working. Far out Riverside, give me a heart attack here. Sorry, everyone that was trying to join in on the live stream, but I think we're live now. I'm just going to test the audio and make sure that we're all good. But Paul, good to see you again. I haven't had a chat with you for a good number of weeks now.
Yeah, it's been a while. We were doing good for a while there with the live streams over on mine, but it's good to be back. Good to be on here for a chat. Looking forward to, not sure what people are expecting. I wasn't sure what to expect when I seen the promo for this.
Yeah. It's an ultimate showdown. So we are going to have 3 rounds, a fight, a showdown between us. But I'll just explain what's happening. So we're going to do 3 different topics, and Paul and I are going to compare what we think about those particular things. First one is top 5 tokens within the Cardano ecosystem or projects. Then the top 3 catalyst proposals, our favorite picks. So help you guys out there to understand what we're looking at and potentially voting on. And then lastly, best hardware wallet, what your favorite hardware wallet is. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to try and do online polls as well throughout this process. So you guys can give us some feedback and let us know who's the winner here. And it's best of 3. So it's either Paul or me. It's coming down to that. So sorry for anyone that thought we're actually going to duke it out and fight on the live stream. Maybe we can arrange that at an event sometime soon.
Opposite sides of the globe here at the minute. So that isn't happening
wherever,
today.
Wherever the next summer is or whatever. How was this summer anyway? I totally missed it.
Summer was good. For me, I missed so much of it in terms of the talks and all different things. For me, I went there to meet as many people as possible, just to get to talk to people in person. Like, these types of things are great. And I talk with Freed and Josh and everything like that. But getting to meet people in person it's different. It's in a good way. You get to see what people are like more so. Sometimes it can be hard to judge. You know yourself when projects approach you, looking, the majority of them just want to get on the channel. They'll nearly be saying whatever that they have to get some airtime, to get some exposure, which I understand too. But when you actually get to sit down, especially in the evenings, sit down, have a drink with some of the guys, and you get to know them more. And I think them kind of connections are great. There's a lot of projects now, when I see their name pop up in the inbox, I'll go straight to the message because I know the people behind it. And a lot of the controversy and a lot of the infighting or stuff like that you see across social media, that just doesn't happen in person. It's a way different experience when you've been to different conferences and stuff before as well. And it's very different than what some people on social media might expect it to be.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting in that, you have a certain persona and way that you speak online. And I think it's an Australian thing for me, but sometimes I comment on something and in my head, I think this is hilarious. But then someone gets so offended by it. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that joke didn't come across that well. So, it's a whole bunch of things that come into play there. But yeah, being there in person, sharing a drink, getting people to buy you drinks, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that. The Irish sense of humor can be a bit different too. I think you guys from doing the streams probably get it a bit more now, or that. So when you're in person, you get to judge off people as well. Do they actually get it, or can you say it out straight the same way you'd say it to your friends around home or that? And there's different, I suppose, different cultures there to get around too.
Yeah, I actually swear a lot. I have to control myself so much on the live stream so I don't swear. So I don't get demonetized by YouTube. So yeah, it's a big thing.
I need to be over on X. X allows anything. You can do whatever you want on your streams there. Actually, I must share this
or even pump.fun. They let you do anything there as well.
Yeah. That's I know everyone should be free to do what they want, decentralization, that's the way of crypto. But to me, that's just when it starts to put people's lives in danger and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't just take away the feature. Everything is still there. The
Yep.
contracts, everyone can still interact and all of that. You just don't have to have that on what is the official front end for it. Obviously, other people can build different front ends when the contracts are there and interact with them on another side. And that's what we see with the likes of YouTube. There's alternatives and things like that built. But the one that's been pushed out there to the mainstream, that's just not the image and that we want out there. And I know, unfortunately, that's the world that we're in now, that people do anything for attention, to earn a small bit of money. And it's, I don't know. I hope it doesn't come back. I know they've turned off the live stream now.
It was so bad. But I saw some really questionable stuff on there, but I'm glad it's gone.
Yeah.
It's need to clean that up. Anyway, so we're going to go through the top 3 round. We're going to go through those 3 rounds. We're also going to talk about BitcoinOS and the announcement of this token launch as well. So if people want to chime in on that, leave a comment. I'll bring it up on screen. And we'll also have a little quick chat about the Wyoming stablecoin thing and the kind of fallout from that. Got a couple of clips. Hopefully they do play on the live stream as well. But shall we get into the first round, Paul?
Let's do it.
All right. Hopefully this thing works. Here we go.
Round 1, fight.
You're really stepping up the game now. There's going to be pressure on me when we go back to my channel for the quality of the streams.
Hopefully that did come up on the stream. I have absolutely no idea if that's working or not, because this is the first time I ever used this on Riverside. But anyway, so round 1, top 5 tokens. Paul, I'll let you go first. What's your top picks at the moment?
My top picks, I suppose, in terms of some of my own holdings, some projects just that I like. A lot of them, I'll say as well, people are in different stages of crypto. The longer you're in it, the more, for me anyway, I look at long-term holds in terms of projects that I'm just going to hold for the long term, and that I don't have to look at my portfolio every hour worrying that it's going to crash 20-30% or something like that, that one news event can mess it up. So for me, I don't know if these are in the order of the top 5. Do they have to be number 1, your top pick?
No. I think it's a little bit unfair to put them in order. I know these projects will, have a go at us. So in no order, what are your top 5 picks?
I suppose Iagon, for me, I love the idea of Deepin, especially what they're trying to do, bring Web 2 companies into Web 3 with some of the proposals and different things that they're looking at. I think it's something that people outside of crypto can understand. Deepin, the whole Deepin narrative. That's why it's one of the projects that I look at for the long term, and it's one I don't have to worry about. Yes, price can be volatile, but for me personally, it's just one I believe in for the long term. Another one, World Mobile, again, in the Deepin narrative. I know they have moved away a little bit from Cardano, still talking about doing partner chains. I'm not sure exactly how that will work out. There's other projects looking at partner chains. That's a whole different topic. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. But again, WMT, real world, one of the biggest things I like about them is they have an income source outside of crypto. So it's not the same funds going around all the time or just the token being inflated. There is revenue being earned by real products outside of crypto that's put back in then to support the network that is generating that revenue outside. So I love to see models like that. COPI, in terms of, I suppose, more so not even in terms of the token, but in terms of gaming and trying to show what's possible with crypto and blockchain gaming. I still see it as one of the biggest ways to bring new people into crypto. There's a whole generation growing up playing games, and they're doing everything that you would want them to do on a blockchain game in terms of buying assets, but a lot of times they buy the assets and then they can't do anything for that or do anything with them. So blockchain is a big benefit to them, that they can hold them assets in their own wallet, be able to trade them. They have value. They can upskill in the game and maybe sell on some of their assets. I know certain games have in-game economies and marketplaces, but I think pulling that out to blockchain, there's such a gap there. And I know, yeah, token price hasn't been great on COPI. It's more having exposure to gaming. It's something that always does well. What else did I say to you? Oh yeah, liquid finance. Again, not so much about the token and the price, but in terms of the product that they've built and what that opens up to Cardano in terms of lending and borrowing and pooled lending and borrowing, which people on other chains are familiar with. So when people come in, it's very easy to pick it up and understand. And I think if we do get things like BitcoinOS, then dApps like liquid finance, you have LendFi as well, which is an alternative. They have went the open source route and put a lot of things out there, slightly different structure to how they set up their pools, which I think some people like, some people don't like, in that you have to pick. So on the likes of Liquid, you can put in your asset, you decide I want to put in ADA. I don't have to pick that it's the ADA LendFi pool or the ADA Iagon pool. I just put in the ADA to the platform. Whereas with LendFi, you have to pick the specific pool that you want to have exposure to. So some people like that you minimize your exposure, but you also minimize some of your potential gains. What was the other one? So what am I down to there? Is that 4?
That was 4. You got one more, NVL.
Oh, Nuvla, yeah. So again, I'll say it's not a token I actually hold, but I like what they're building. I like how fast they have got out there. Again, it's in around the deep in narrative. It's in around giving utility and something back to users. So you can hold a token and they get exposure to multiple different projects out there. You look at, I think, House of Titans do similar with their token. Tokyo are going to do similar. So we're starting to see people explore that narrative. And I think it is important because it gives more people reason to hold the project. But obviously the project has to do something outside of that. And actually, one that I didn't mention, I'm going to throw it in there, is SNEK, in terms of people. Some people love meme coins, some people don't. I think they have definitely tried to build something out there. There's stuff I like, stuff I don't like, but I think you can't deny the attention or the trading volumes that they have brought into Cardano, which is good for the overall ecosystem. But that's me.
All right, you snuck in a little extra one there as well.
I was thinking as I was going through, I forgot highest volume token project. I can't not give them a mention.
Well, it's one of mine. So SNEK is one of my picks. So SNEK is definitely, they've built so many things. SNEK trading bot, the DEX, they've got all these different aspects that they've built throughout their ecosystem. It's just, it's great. You don't see meme coins do this. Provide utility, provide development stuff to the ecosystem. Most meme coins just pump and dump. If you look at pump.fun, that's just trash. It truly is trash. Mm-hmm. But SNEK are actually innovating. SNEK Energy, hey, that's great. I wish I could get one of those and get some of those energy drinks. That'd be absolutely awesome. And they've got exchange listings here in Australia as well. It's what no other Cardano token is that I know of is listed on Australian exchanges. You can't withdraw or deposit in, but you can actively trade within those exchanges. So I think they're doing a phenomenal job. And I really do feel like they may be the first token that might list on a really big tier 1 exchange as well. With the amount of momentum, the price action going up, more eyes on it, it might be good. And next year is also the year of the snake. So it might be a thing. All right. So that's one of my picks. My next pick here is, again, just like you, Nuvla. I think they're one of those projects that just gives users that can't provide nodes on the network, don't have the infrastructure, don't have the skills, don't have the knowledge to be able to participate in those particular ecosystems. Nuvla allows them to participate and earn some of the rewards from that. So I love that idea, and being expanded over to the various different ecosystems there are. I can't remember them all. I know they're off with that Oracle, OrcFax. They've got the Iagon side of things, and they've got another three, MNT, and another two. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that just makes it so much easier for people to get into those ecosystems and earn some of those rewards. So that's definitely one of my picks. Now, I'm a big MinSwap fan. So Min token, I think, is one of the good utility tokens out there, governance tokens. For those that don't know, the MinSwap team do the catalyst rounds of voting, and they have their own little mini round where you can use the Min token to vote within Catalyst for their shortlisted projects. And I think that's really powerful for anyone that has Catalyst proposals, because if you're a big Min holder or you're part of the Min ecosystem, you can influence that amount of ADA that they have to vote for your potential project. So it's a very powerful token if you're within the ecosystem. And I was looking at the token price a couple of weeks ago. So when they were doing this internal voting within the governance ecosystem, token price was going up because people are needing that token to vote within that ecosystem. So that's, I think, a very powerful token. Liquid Finance has got a very similar thing too. Now, my next pick, what was it? Iagon. They're doing an amazing job. Partnerships all over the place, deep in narrative, and decentralized storage. I think it's fantastic. I use their service for a couple of our websites, and it works. It's beautiful. Still got to work through the API and stuff to integrate with Cardano Press and other things, but it's doing a really good job, and I love what they're doing. So I think they're onto a really good thing, and hopefully we'll see more partnerships next year and the token expand even further. But they've got mechanisms within the ecosystem, like you need the Iagon token if you want to provide a node. So it's got all these mechanisms in there that make users need to buy the token. So there's always buy pressure on the Iagon token. So I absolutely love that. Now, what's my next pick here? Cerebus, XER. Now, Cerebus, I think those guys are doing an amazing job with the anti-scam, the siren, all their innovations that they're doing. But one of the really cool things, hopefully I can share this tab if I'm doing the right thing. Did that come up? Nope.
No, I still have tap tools. Now I have us.
Here we go. Got to click a couple of things. But I think this is brilliant. Their popular index vaults. When this is launched, based on their risk ratings, you'll be able to get access to these indexes. And for anyone that has no idea what to get into, or are looking at all these particular projects, can't do all the research, just get into the index, because that will give you exposure to the top 5 projects. And I think that's a brilliant way of doing things. And using the Cerebus platform to help diversify your holdings in the Cardano ecosystem, brilliant. So Cerebus, one of my top picks as well. Was that 5? Yes, it was. That's 5. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to hit the poll button here. I can start a poll. Let me just start too many options here. Start poll. So if you're watching on YouTube, just started the poll there. Go ahead and vote. Hit that vote button, guys. Who won out of this? So Paul, just to recap, where'd the poll go? Oh, you're winning. Paul picked Iagon, WMT, COPI, Liquid, Nuvula, and I picked Nuvula, Cerebus, Min, Iagon, and SNEK. Well, Paul kind of snuck in SNEK there as well, but I only put in your top 5. So it's neck and neck, Paul, but we'll let that go for a little bit. So jump on the poll there, guys, and vote away. All right.
So what others?
Shall we move on to round 2? Now, I'll just check the comments.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking to. Any other projects that we didn't mention actually be good to throw in there? Because sometimes, like I was going through, I forgot to mention SNEK. There's all those projects that you forget to mention. So let us know any other ones. Stuff.
There's a lot.
Another good project there, doing something different than lots of other projects that are out there.
True stuff. Stuff is going to be big. I like the honorable mentions here. I'll show it on screen again. Lenfi and NMaker, 2 big projects in the Cardano ecosystem too, so they should be mentioned.
Yeah, NMaker power a lot of different things within the ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
And even, I suppose, as NFTs died down a bit, they innovated and they're doing other things.
Nikal mentioned price go down. Yes, it is going down a bit at the moment. You're better at this
lots of
trading
red
stuff, aren't you, Paul?
Sorry?
You're betting it better at this trading stuff. It's I see this as a price discovery moment, trying to find support at the dollar mark. So hopefully it does stay.
Yeah, I think everything's down because Bitcoin is down right now. Bitcoin's shooting down under 92K. So the rest of the market suffers. Generally, if Bitcoin shakes, the whole market shakes. I don't know, is there any announcements or anything this morning? I didn't really get to look around, so I'm not sure if the...
Absolutely none that I could see. So I think it's whales taking profits over the weekend. People getting excited, pump up everything on the Friday. People on the weekend jump in, the retail comes in. Then on Monday morning, Wall Street just comes in and nukes everyone and takes profit. That's the way I see it.
Look, I'm not going to complain at the price. Even after that, looking at the prices here, 88, 89 cent data and a 92K Bitcoin. Considering where we are in the cycle, I'm not going to complain at them kind of prices at all. You're never going to go straight up. There's always going to be pullbacks in any market.
Yep. It's a natural part of the process. Hopefully it does continue though. This is only the beginning. We've still got the US government buying, hopefully that Bitcoin reserve thing goes through and they do end up buying a million. Was it a million Bitcoin?
I can't remember the number actually.
Yeah, 5% of the supply. It was like 200,000 a year over 5 years. So I think it's a million, just over a million Bitcoin to be 5% of the supply. So it's insane. So hopefully that does go in, and some other regulations do change as well, so that businesses can hold cryptocurrency assets and have them as assets on their profit and loss statements as opposed to liabilities. But we'll see how that goes. Trump's got a lot to do. It's January 20th is the day where we'll see things happen.
Yeah, I think getting some good policy in there, maybe looking at capital gains, then that could be good. And he's going to be all about America. I think he will be very good for America, maybe not so good for some other countries. Ireland, what they do with corporation tax, things like that might be impacted. But I think for America and crypto, it's going to be good.
Going to be good. All right. Next round, Paul. Come on, play.
Round 2, fight!
Top 3 catalyst proposals. All right. Go ahead, Paul. What's your top 3? I'll try and pull them up.
Right. So what I look more for is proposals that are building something to attract new users in, or to build architecture or build tooling for new developers to come in and build easier on Cardano, because it's definitely got a lot easier. It has been harder over the last few years, but the last, say, 12 months, even 18 months, it's got so much easier. On the partnership side, again, Iagon, really like what they're doing, trying to bring Web 2 companies into Web 3 with Würth, and what they're trying to do with the IP and being able to utilize the storage that Iagon have. I think things like that are great. The more Web 2 companies we can get to see the advantages of blockchain in general, yes, Cardano, but blockchain in general, I think the better for the overall space. Another one then is Lucid Evolution, which people maybe not on the developer side won't understand the importance of libraries like this. So this is any DApp or any project that's building on Cardano that needs to build transactions. You need libraries to be able to build this, or to be able to build them a lot easier. So there's plug and play. You can plug in these libraries, and it makes it so much easier for developers to build on top of it, to build transactions on the Cardano network. We had Lucid probably for years since we got smart contracts first. Alessandro, who was behind Spacebuds, he created Lucid kind of in his spare time, I would say. He put this together, and I never understood the power of it until Alessandro kind of moved on to other things. And then it was like, oh, all these things as development progressed. Lucid Evolution is they've taken that and kind of rewritten a lot of different things within it and looking to take advantage of the newer hard forks and newer functionality that's there. So this is from Anastasia Labs, which again is a project that I really like. Phil, so I think you've had him on the channel as well. Have you, Phil, from Anastasia? And really smart guy. They're doing a lot of really good things at Anastasia Labs. So I think Lucid Evolution is definitely one to consider. I know Blaze was another library that does similar things. I don't know if they have proposals in this one. They had proposals in the last fund and did get funded. And my third one then is on, I like what, there's two projects trying to do it. There's Tokeo and Revuto are trying to bring credit cards into it, where you can have a credit card connected to your wallet, so you can put the assets onto the credit card and be able to spend them outside of crypto. So I think easy on and off ramps is really important. These are two, I mentioned Revuto as well as Tokeo, that I need to look at the differences between them. I know they're both looking to bring in credit cards or debit cards. From what I looked at initially, there's a lot of similarities. I think Revuto are looking to just have it within their application. I know when I went through the Tokeo one there, they're looking that once it's built and the APIs are there, any wallet or any dApp will be able to utilize this themselves. So maybe it's one I can do a comparison on and something different. But I think anything around that enables developers, brings in new non-crypto projects, and enables easy onboarding or off-ramping. They're the types of things I think people should consider.
Brilliant list there, Paul. It's going to be hard putting this poll together, though. I'll see how I can do. I'll just check back on the current poll at the moment. You're at 42%. I'm at 58%. So just winning. I think it's that SNEK. We'll see.
SNEK is a popular one. I see why you left it off my list.
Cheating, I guess. All right, my first pick here. This I thought was quite an interesting one, and this is Parametric Insurance. This is being brought together, partnership one between Charli3 and FIDA Finance, and they're bringing in this really big insurance company called Howden Group. They're the fourth largest insurance company in the world. They hold a lot of that liability of that insurance, and they're looking at ways to optimize their workflows. So Parametric Insurance is about using this blockchain to automate some of these claims, and one of them is around disasters. So if there's a massive wildfire or something like that, they can use that data that they can bring in and say, all right, all of these homes have been destroyed by a wildfire, so we can pay out the insurance policies for all of these homes because we know that they have been affected by the fire or flood or any other natural disaster. So I think this is a really good way to bring a very large company into the blockchain space, continuously using oracles from Charli3 and live data, bring it on chain, and then utilizing blockchain and optimizing the process that way. So I think that one's an absolutely brilliant one. So that's my first pick. My next one here is around Web3 Hotels. So this is taking the whole Web3, not the whole Web3 booking, the whole hotel booking experience and converting into a Web3 platform. Everything from the booking engine, being able to pay with ADA, and then also the loyalty system and also the review system as well. So doing reviews on hotels and having that all immutable on blockchain. So, some hotels, they get a bad review and then they can just, fudge it with the review platform and change their reviews. So no more of that. And then a loyalty system where you can actually trade your loyalty points as well. So you gain all these loyalty points. What are you going to do with them? Maybe you're not going to use them with a hotel or whatever. You can trade them on the platform with other people. Get a little bit of fiat currency for whatever it is. So I think this is a really big one. It's working with some really big companies as well. Hotel Beds, Home Res, all these, they're really big companies in the world. And this is part of the Cardano partners and enterprise category as well. So this is big ADA here. Excuse me. The last one here, my third pick. This is the Barcelona Football Club. Excuse me. They didn't make it in the last round. And I thought that was a little bit disappointing. But they bring in this, they tweak their proposal, they've come back in and they're revamping it up. And they're doing this big engagement with their fans to bring in users directly into Web3. So it's like a learn to work platform that they're going to put together, and they're going to energize their fan base to go through the platform, engage with the fan merchandise or whatever it is within the platform to get users into the ecosystem, but then also do that all on chain and interact with on chain stuff. So this is literally getting the Barcelona FC fans directly into the on-chain stuff. So I think this is a really good one-to-one transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So I think this is a really big one as well. The amount of ADA for these projects is quite high, but we were talking about this before, Paul. This was all done when ADA was 30 cents. So it's gone up quite a bit. So some of these prices, proposal budgets do look really high. And that's mainly because the price of ADA has moved up suddenly so much in the last couple of weeks. But they're my top 3 picks.
Nice. Yeah, we were talking just before we went live about the price of some of these proposals and what they're going to be. If the markets keep going the way they are, maybe we'll be back down towards or closer to the 30 cent when people actually get the funding. When proposals go through, it's probably going to be January, February before people actually get the funding, maybe towards February, really, by the time results. I can't remember offhand the dates for this one, but just when you mentioned there, FIDA, that reminded me, I got to talk to one of the team at the summit, and that's an interesting project, an interesting use case for Cardano, for the blockchain, that doesn't require your instant finality, your lightning transaction speeds and things like that. So things like that really do suit being built on Cardano because you're relying on the reliability of the infrastructure. And what they were doing and opening up real fi aspects in that we could come in and we could provide collateral to back up certain loans and different things like that, or certain insurance claims. I thought it was interesting. It's one I'd forgot about, but I have to go back and look at now.
Yeah, I absolutely love that one. I was very surprised that they're one of the major sponsors of the Cardano Summit as well. So I guess they have a bit of funding behind them as it is. So that's kind of good to know.
Yeah, it's not one that I had heard of before the summit, but just walking around and ended up at their booth and can't remember the guy's name. Really nice guy. Gave me a demo of the platform, and it was a lot more interesting than I was expecting it to be when I heard of insurance on the blockchain. But when they talked about the aspects of where there will be opportunities for people to get involved by providing assets as collateral and being able to earn interest and yield on it, that piqued my interest. So it's definitely one I need to go back and look at.
It's a really strange one, being able to earn yield on insurance policies, but I think it's great. It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Better us
right.
getting it than the big companies.
Yeah. All right, round 1, Paul. It was kind of close. You won it at 51%.
Nice.
Yeah, you 51% me. I got the 48 there, so the vote's kind of a bit skewed. I've just put up the second poll. So we've got Paul Callis proposals, the Iagon Würth, Lucid, and Tokeo, and mine up there with FIDA, the Web3 Hotels and FC Barcelona. So let's see how that one goes. And again, Paul, you're winning.
Look at the
86%
Irish.
at the moment. Yeah, we'll keep it at that. We'll keep it at that. All right, let me stop this screen share here. Let me just check the live stream. Oh, here we go. Check this out. Punch him. Yeah, sorry guys. I am coughing a little bit. I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, so I've got some whiskey here.
Yeah, well,
It's late.
It's nearly midday for me. It's a lot later for you.
Well, you know, if it's past 12 o'clock somewhere, you can drink, right? So, cheers. Sorry, Trim. We didn't pick Hydra proposals. No, not this round. That I personally was going for big onboarding of users, mainly at the moment. I probably will vote for L2s and whatnot, but the ones that I wanted to really highlight were the adoption ones.
Yeah, like that. Actually, I had Trim on yesterday. That'll probably come out later this week, and we talked about Hydra and use cases and some of the different proposals there. So there is some interesting stuff that's going on there.
Nice. All right, we got the last and final round. This one is round hardware wallets. Where is the media thing? Here we go. Stepping up the game. Final round. Let's see how we go here.
Final round. Fight!
Best hardware wallet. Paul, before you go into this, I've got a little clip here that I want to play. And hopefully the audio does go through from this clip. So let me just find it. I've got it in one of these millions of tabs that I opened up just before we jumped in on this. I think this is going to be very relevant. Where is bookmarks? Ah, there it is. Okay. So here and then this. Just give me a second. I'll share the screen. There we go. All right. Okay. Share screen.
Presume this is something bad about some of the wallets.
Of course, it's something bad. Hang on,
I can think of both top providers. Things in my head for both of them. Yes, this one.
Yes, this one. Tracer's got another thing, but this one here, this is really alarming. I know we were talking about this last year. I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. Ledger bringing out that recovery option. So you can shard your seed phrase on your Ledger hardware device and have it uploaded to 3 different service providers and have it your option to be able to recover that if anything happens. But this here was very alarming. Subpoena access. Ledger CEO confirms that government agencies could access private keys through the Ledger recovery feature if a subpoena was issued. And you know that just gives me major alarm bells. And I know I know in the interview here that I saw. Let me just go back to the bookmarks. Where on earth are the bookmarks? This here. This was from last year, May 2023. This is just before everyone started burning their Ledger Nano devices. I don't know if you remember that, Paul. But, can you hear this?
None of the cases, you know,
yeah, I can hear it.
In the 3 entities, and you know the way that this is built. But we've released a lot of content. The way that this is built, like, you know, you can only only the user can sort of call back the 3 shards. The only concern really is if we get subpoena by a government to say, now, you know, this user specifically, you know, we would like you to, you know, retrieve the 3 shards, etc. So that's not a real concern in the end, because for several reasons. One, you only get subpoenaed like this by governments if it's a serious act, like terrorism, drugs, etc., etc. Like it's not true that the average person gets subpoenaed every day.
Can I just interrupt there? Coinbase had all their customer data subpoenaed by the IRS.
John Doe.
Yeah, and so they had to supply every customer. Was it over $10,000 or 20,000?
20,000.
20,000
over a 3-month rolling period.
and they gave all.
And Coinbase fought back because they wanted, I
They
think,
did.
3,000.
But Coinbase is a bank. This is not a banking service. Okay, so it's very different.
But it's what I'm saying is the IRS wanted that information. If something
There is no
like,
information for the IRS on this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sure. The CEO was arguing you get subpoenaed if you're a terrorist. That really high level stuff where the government would need to come in and seize your assets and stop you from trading with the Ledger Nano Ledger device. What are your thoughts, Paul?
It's a stupid feature to put in by default. And I think that's what a lot of people were giving out about. And myself, look, I use Ledger just because it's what I've had for years. And I bought multi-packs a few years ago so I can segregate and have backups and different things like that. So it's one of them things that I should change at some point. I should look at changing when you see that type of stuff. But you do have to opt into it. Not the only, but one of the big negatives is that it's part of the firmware that's on each device. So if you do upgrade, as someone said there, but it's not part of the Ledger Nano S, and I don't think it is, and that's due to the size restrictions of the Nano S, Nano S Plus, and the Nano X, then it just comes as default. There should be versions of the firmware that doesn't have this software in it. And I think if Ledger don't go and do that, they're just killing themselves as a hardware provider in the long term. It's only a certain clientele that want this. If you actually want them features, just use a centralized custodian. To me, no one really should want them aspects. Just use a centralized custodian that's trusted. Some of the big guys, BitGo, or some of them, Coinbase custody, just keep it all there if you don't want the full custody and control yourself. So I think it's just you have to KYC then to do it. I've obviously never went through the recovery process or even tried to enable it, but I presume if they're talking there about for terrorism, like there's no way to know what wallet is linked to a seed phrase without actually restoring it and seeing what addresses are linked to it. So if they have an address that's linked to terrorism, how do they then go back and figure out that that's a Ledger address? I don't know. Is there a way to do that? Or I didn't think there was, but
I don't think there is, but maybe Ledger have mapped seed phrases and addresses and they know. So
that's even,
I don't know.
yeah.
I know. We have absolutely no idea what's happening in the background with Ledger. So none of their code is open source. So no one can verify anything the CEO is saying. So hopefully one day they do open source their code so that some smart people can go through it line by line and work out what's happening. But it's an alarming thing. And we do need to look at alternatives. And one of the security experts that I was speaking to recently said, if you can get 3 different types of hardware devices, spread your assets across those 3. You diversify your portfolio of across different assets of what you're buying. Diversify your storing of it across different devices as well. So if something fails, you only have lost a third. You're not going to hurt that much. So that's an option too. But Paul, what's your top pick hardware device?
How do I say that I use Ledger now? I'm feeling you're going to go with Keystone or something like that, which I haven't been able to try, so I can't pick it. But they seem very open to the Cardano community, what they're trying to build, any features, especially Martin with his scripts and that. They're very open to trying to put it in there, where Trezor recently said they aren't going to push one of the recent updates that Martin put out there. So that was a black mark against Trezor. So I'll go with Ledger as the most common one. Still works very well. I know it has that feature in there that I don't like, obviously, from what I just said there. But from my own practices, yes, I still have some Bitcoin on a Trezor from a few years ago. And the reason that I had to move away from them was because they didn't support ADA on the, I forget what one it is. I haven't took it out in a long time, but the smaller, one of the older Trezors, because of the size capacity of what's needed for ADA, then they didn't support ADA. I know they did on later versions, but I just didn't upgrade to the more expensive one. So we'll go with Ledger, and I'll lose this one.
Maybe maybe not. You know, I still use a Ledger now as well. So yeah, it's my daily, and I have to say the user experience on it is probably the easiest from all. Excuse me, all the wallets. It's, you know, signing the transactions. You do have to click those buttons a lot with Cardano transactions, which is extremely annoying. But it's easy to use, and majority of Cardano wallets have support for it, so it's really good in that respect.
Is that different on other wallets? Actually, I was doing a trade yesterday, and it was splitting over 4 dexes. And when I was doing it, I had to click the buttons 3 or 4 times for every individual dex, even though it was one transaction on the front end. But confirming it, I had to click it on many buttons, maybe 10, 15 times. I'd click them to confirm it.
Wow.
But I wonder, is there a way that can be done on other wallets, that it's just confirm everything, that you don't have to go into the detail?
Well, I use the Keystone, so I do have a Keystone, and I don't know if I've done like a really complex transaction like that, but signing on this is a dream. It's an absolute dream.
Okay.
It's so easy. You literally this is an air gap device, and this thing is absolutely brilliant. So I'll put you into contact with the Keystone team, see if they can get you a device out there so you can trial out and live stream or whatever. But you open up Eternal, you do your transaction, whatever it might be, and then you get this device and you scan the QR code on Eternal when it appears. And the QR code, you know, it contains all the string data, but it's an animated GIF. So each what do you call it? Screen, each frame of the animated GIF is another part of that transaction. So you can have extremely long, complex transactions because the animated GIF goes through each part of the string, and it just creates that really long transaction for you. Then you confirm it on here. You sign the transaction with a fingerprint on the back, so it's biometric. And then you have to use another camera, unfortunately, and I have to use like this extra webcam I've got to scan it back, and that sends the confirmation back to the Eternal wallet. So it's a little bit of a process. If you're using a laptop, it's really quick and easy, or if you're using a mobile device, you do it on mobile between your phone and the Keystone device, it's really easy that way. I'm just using a really clunky PC setup. So I think that's a really good setup, but I just don't know if it can handle that really large, complex transaction over, 4 dexes on a dex aggregator. So that'll be an interesting one to see.
Yeah, okay. That's I know I was talking to someone from the team a long time back, and I never got back to them about getting a device to test it out, but I must follow up on that now.
I'll put you into contact. I'll see if they can get you one. And the other one that I've been playing around with a lot, let me just get this one up. This thing here. Can you guys see that?
Oh, Tangent.
Yep. Again, Paul, reach out to the team. Reach out to the Tangent team.
Is that the ring, is it?
It's not the ring. I'm getting the ring. The ring's on its way. This is just the standard pack. The ring's $160 US, and it's just gimmicky. There's no extra security about it. It's just really cool, right? But in the Tangent thing, you get these cards, and what you do with that is to sign the transaction or authorize the transaction, you tap it on your phone. So on the phone, you might do the send ADA to another wallet, whatever it is, and then use this to sign that transaction. So you have to have that physical card with you. So it's seed phrases are all stored on here. So private key, sorry, it's all stored on there. So it's a different way of doing things.
Yeah, that's a nice way to do it too.
The interesting thing though is that the one's your main card, and then you have 2 backups. You lose all
Okay.
3, you're
So you don't actually get a
stuffed.
seed phrase with it then, do you not? You just
No.
get the 3 physical device or 3.
That's right. That's right. That's the default way. Apparently, I didn't see in the setup that you could get a seed phrase from setting these up.
Mhm.
You could apparently you can. So when you set one of these up, you can do it so you can get the seed phrase, and then you'll be able to restore that seed phrase on another card. So that way you have some sort of recovery process. But then you still have to deal with the seed phrase. So if you're the type of person that's not seed phrase friendly, then you're stuffed again. So this card is really
Yeah.
good for those people that don't want to deal with seed phrases.
I think paranoia would make me want to have the seed phrase and have the backups and stuff like that, different locations, just in case something ever happens.
You got options. But out of those 3, Keystone's my pick.
Okay.
Open source hardware. It's been verified by 2 different security companies, all the code. So you know, we know it's pretty good. So it's verified hardware and software, all open source.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. I'll have to get my hands on one to try it out.
We'll set you up, Paul. Don't worry. All right. Let's check this poll here. What? You're winning again, Paul.
Coming into your house and just beating you up.
All right, let me end that poll. You got 74% or 71%, and I got 28.
Oh.
Well then, thanks guys. All right, start another poll here. Paul, Ledger, Peter, Keystone. See how we go with that. I better win one, guys. Technically, you've won this fight already, Paul.
I'm wondering, should I vote for you on this one just to give you the vote?
Thanks. Or you can take all 3 rounds. And I actually forgot to play this. So let me just play this quickly.
Final round. Fight!
I put the effort into making it, so you're going to hear it, guys. Final
Have to
round.
use it, yeah. You probably have a Keystone link somewhere. Someone asking there about them.
I do. It's all in my show notes. Hang on. I'll get it for the chat. There you guys. There you go. That's my affiliate link. Any purchases of that, much appreciated. All right, let's check these live stream chats. We've gone over time just a little bit, Paul. Are you okay with time?
I'm okay for another few minutes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
We still got to
watching
talk
the
about
baby.
some really big things here. Let me just check the chat here. Whoa, okay, there's lots of comments. Paul has the advantage of people caring about their bags with Iagon and Toke. Yeah, okay. I see your point. Butane mainnet is near. Yes, I think it is. Those guys
Was there
are
any dates on
perfectionists.
that yet?
No.
Okay.
Jay and Micah never give dates. I spoke to them directly in Sydney. It's like, we can't give dates. If you give a date, the token price will go up. So they can't do anything like that. Marcel said here, we talked to Tangent, but their Cardano support is very limited. Yeah, I agree. The Tangent card is really good for holding tokens. I don't think you can sign smart contracts with it at all. So it's a store and hold, long hold, hodl kind of card. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing either. If it is just your one that sits there.
And Catty here says, is that a Ledger device you're holding? I'm holding all 3.
I think They said that when you brought up the Tangem at one stage.
Ledger, Keystone, and my Cardano Foundation Tangem card for being an ambassador. Only holds ADA. All right. We've got 2 more topics if we can go through them quickly. First one is BitcoinOS. Now, there's a lot of controversy now. BitcoinOS. All right, guys. I thought this was all going to happen without a token.
I think most people did. I seen a comment from Charles as well that he didn't know about a token or.
Really?
Yeah, I
That's-
have. Did I bookmark it?
That's crazy.
I have a
Because like,
bookmark somewhere. I can send
really,
it to you after if you want to show it.
yeah,
Some of your other
send-
videos.
Send it in the chat, and I can bring it up as well. But okay, so BitcoinOS supposed to bring Cardano over as an L2. Users will be able to interact with Cardano DeFi from the Bitcoin ecosystem. So you have Bitcoin on the Bitcoin wallet. You connect over to a Cardano DApp, and you'll be able to provide loans, whatever it is, within that ecosystem. So that's absolutely brilliant using ZK proofs, ZK zero knowledge proofs. Is there any more to add to that, Paul? Because I wasn't there at the summit, so I completely missed out on all this announcement about it.
I missed the talk too, because again, I was just walking around kind of talking to loads of different people throughout the 2 days. So I'm actually, before the token stuff came out, I'm sitting down with Eden tonight to have a chat about it, which I thought was going to be just talking about the tech and the use cases and timelines and stuff like that. But on the announcement yesterday, that conversation is going to have to be a decent chunk of that, looking at the token and utility, why have a token for this as well. And with the company that's doing the token for them, the Launchpad, that was their initial company. So I'm not sure of the play between the two of them as well, the Sovereign, whatever it is. As far as the small bit that I've seen, it's the same kind of team that's behind the two of them. So
yeah,
it's not great. I was really looking forward to what it can bring. And I know people compare it to, well, we have OneChain, which is a great bridge. We have other options. There's, what's the Ergo one? The bridge.
Oh my God. Rosenbridge,
yes. So we have options like that. But for me, it wasn't just about the bridge aspect of it. It was about being able to verify the proof on Bitcoin. So for people who were just using their Bitcoin wallet, they could take out a loan in, say, a stable coin. They could take it out on Liquid, but it all happens within the wallet, that they interact with the Cardano side, that the proof is verified on the Bitcoin side, that the Bitcoin has been locked up. Once that happens, the Cardano native asset can be sent into the Bitcoin wallet. You look at what Fluid tokens are doing. Raul is always posting different aspects of what he's working on. Tokeo bringing in Bitcoin. Begin also bringing in Bitcoin into the wallet. And I was looking forward to that because it's the seamless UI UX aspect of it that I think is so important on this. And the tech can be brilliant underneath it, but if it's not simple to use on top, you're not going to get people using it. So that's what the advantage was for me over being just a bridge. I know there'll be bridging aspects where you can bring Bitcoin over trustlessly, but for me, it's the direct interaction with the dApps on the Cardano side that I was most excited about, and still am excited about the functionality of what it can bring. But from reading around some of the comments and stuff, I think this could have kicked off something within the Cardano community, the token aspect, that maybe we can just do this ourselves. I've seen ZK Fold are looking at, they came out and said today, yeah, with a bit of support from certain people in the community, some of the brighter minds, they can probably do this themselves. And Charles now seems set on really pushing forward with Babel fees, which is something I've wanted to see on Cardano since I first heard about it a few years ago. Anyone who hasn't heard of it, it is basically you can send any assets on Cardano. So say you're sending I just mentioned Fluid there with Raul. Say you're sending the Fluid token, and they actually have an implementation of this. It's just not on the ledger level, as far as I know. It's more with APIs. I need to research into it. But what would happen is that you pay the fees in the token you're sending, and then underneath that, there's mechanisms to swap out that token into ADA to pay the actual transaction fees and whatever the min UTXO is. But for the end user, they don't care about having to hold ADA, and ADA holders will think, oh, that's a bad thing, but it really doesn't matter. It encourages more people to use it, ease of use, and then underneath, it's still ADA that's been used for the transactions. So now there's talk of maybe we can build that functionality on the Cardano side. Obviously, this all happened in the last few hours, so there'll be lots more to come out on it. But I still think if BitcoinOS deliver what they've talked about, it's still a great solution to have, token or no token. I'd rather it without a token, but maybe I'll get some more answers on that tonight.
Good luck with that, Paul. Good luck with that. But it does feel like, they've ramped up all this marketing and all this engagement with the Cardano ecosystem, which is very smart because Cardano ecosystem is so engaged. And when we hear stuff like this, it's like, bam, we create the hype, we create the marketing. So it feels like, great, now we've got the hype, we've got the whole community behind us. Hey, we have a token, come in for our pre-sale. That's what it really felt like. But there was some clarification on their tweets or their posts, and this one here. So the OS bridge brings an entire crypto ecosystem together. Will utilize BOSS token. So yeah, it's not just Cardano. We do have to remember it's all the other ecosystems. They also Sovereign also have another solution, L2 solution called Build on Bitcoin, Bob, and that's very integrated into EVM chains. So I'm assuming BitcoinOS is going to integrate with that as well. So we're going to have a lot of interoperability between everything that they are working on. So that's something to think about. But this next bit here, BOSS is used to access Bitcoin Compute and ZK folding. Users can still pay fees using BTC or other tokens, but are converted to BOSS on the back end. And this is very similar to something that Blueshift did. So back when I used to work with Blueshift, they used to have their Blues token, and the Blues token used to be used within their validator network. So they had their own validator network behind Milkometer that would validate the transactions, and Blues tokens was the gas fee behind that. So anytime you traded a particular token on the front end, you'd have to pay the fees in Blues. But you never saw that. You didn't see that. It did the conversion and the integration of that fee in one single transaction. And whatever token you're putting in, like ADA, it will take out the ADA as the fee. So it's I think that's very similar to what BitcoinOS are doing here. So that might be a saving grace. So in regards to using the platform itself, you won't need to use or have or hold the BOSS token itself. So if you're just a user, if you're on Bitcoin, you're trying to come into the Cardano DeFi space, you can provide liquidity, you can do whatever, and not have that BOSS token. But the users that do have the BOSS token will see the utility of that, will see the usage of the token, gas fees, etc., go up. So that's what I assume it will go up. So the token holders may see price appreciation. So that's kind of the saving grace there. They can integrate and use the platform without the users needing to have the token itself.
Yeah, I suppose Babel fees to a degree. I don't know.
Yeah.
You probably can't implement it on the ledger level. You probably still need Bitcoin for the fees over on Bitcoin. But yeah, again, to me, it comes back to the UI UX. Make it as simple as possible for the end user to use it, and then you will get adoption. If what you need is the people who really understand the technology to be able to come out and say, yes, this is safe, it does on the back end what it's meant to do on the front end, and then on the front end make it as simple as possible so anybody can come in. So I can come in, I have Bitcoin sitting there in my wallet, I can use that against a loan on Cardano or against any other ecosystem, whatever it is, get involved in DeFi opportunities. And that's where that's where I think it still can do really well. With the
we do forget about. Yep.
Oh, sorry, no, I was going to comment on that, but you probably said the same.
Yeah, we do got to remember some of our homegrown solutions. Mint, they're doing the whole cross-chain thing. They know this, and they have a Babel fee implementation as well. It worked well for me when I was playing around with it.
Yeah, I think I haven't looked into the fluid tokens one, but I'm presuming there's a lot of similarities there with using APIs in terms of swapping out the whatever token it is for the ADA to pay the fees on that on the back end. So it's the options are out there, and if Charles really does push on the other side to get Babel fees at the ledger level, I think that's brilliant to have too.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Now, if anyone's listening and Paul's going to be interviewing the BitcoinOS team, leave a comment and we'll collate those comments so that Paul can ask them. It's when's the interview? Like 9 hours from now or so?
6 hours from now, 6.5 hours from now.
Leave a comment, guys, and Paul will ask when he's got him on his what do you call it, interview. All right, I think that's all the time we have to cover BitcoinOS. The very last thing I want to talk about is the Wyoming stablecoin. And, it's a little bit disappointing that, yeah, sure, Cardano didn't get shortlisted at all because of it through the process, because of not being able to freeze tokens. That's what it seems like it came down to. But we can freeze tokens now. The Fluid Tokens team, shout out to the Fluid Tokens team. They're doing amazing stuff. They managed to implement some of the solution with PluTS guy. Forgotten his name.
Oh, Michelle,
yes, is came up with the idea and talked to Matteo about it, and they came up with a solution, so we can freeze tokens within the Cardano ecosystem. So I don't know what happened there really, but let me just play this clip here. I've got another one here.
I know Charles wasn't too happy about it anyway. He done a live stream.
Oh my God, he was not happy at all. This is the clip here. Let me play this one. But this seems like the reason why. And I think this might explain it. It's essentially everything's going to Ethereum.
Everything's going to Ethereum.
Build it on Ethereum.
I think we should be launching my personal recommendation, and this will be, I will disclose I've built primarily in the Ethereum ecosystem, but I do think Ethereum is the right choice. The number of daily active wallets on the platform is by far the largest. It is the most compatible. It opens up, being what's called EVM compatibility with the Ethereum virtual machine would give you compatibility with several other more scalable, more efficient, more cost efficient and speedier blockchains, which we refer to as layer twos. Those include Polygon, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism. Again, the list goes on. And then there are other blockchains, some like Cardano, like Tezos, which are all pursuing Ethereum compatibility as well. So everything, although there are merits to those other systems, everything is going in one direction, in my perspective.
So that's it. They just see the market, everyone going to EVM, Ethereum. So just go there. It sounds like that's seriously the reason.
Yeah, it's surprising after so many meetings, so many different things, research went into it over what seems like the last year, maybe 2 years since Charles started talking about it. And he said himself attended so many different meetings and things about this that they didn't call back people like him or like representatives from other ecosystems to explain the technology side of it, to say what is possible, what isn't possible. I do see the point that if you're only looking from the outside in, you look at Ethereum is big, you hear about EVM machine and how that gives you instant compatibility with all these different chains. And that if you just look at it at that high level, you might say, oh yeah, well, these are the ones that we're going to go with. But it comes back to me that, again, the UI UX of new people coming into crypto, they don't care what chain it's going to be on. The majority don't. Obviously, the individuals entities, or we look at the likes of the entities that are being attracted to Cardano with NASA, Dubai police running POCs and things like that. People like that do care, but the general user don't. So the entities should be finding the chain that they like underneath it, and then it's whatever wallet they tell people to use, whatever they put out there. And again, more wallets are becoming multi-chain, that you just have everything within one wallet. So the wallets simplify what happens underneath it. So it's a pity to see how it went like that. I don't think we've heard the last of it in terms of Charles probably has decent influence there. And I don't even mean from just, oh, they should choose Cardano or things like that, but too much happening behind closed doors from an initiative that started out so positive in terms of transparency and what could be out there. And yeah, Costa mentioned there about USDC compatible chains only. It's funny that, and Charles did mention that in, I think he had a stream talking about XRP and Wyoming, and he did mention that as well, that it's funny how they're all circle chains.
That is kind of funny, isn't it? Funny, not funny in a way. But yeah, it really does seem like it's there's certain influence. I think Charles also mentioned something about people in New York, the big players there, making decisions of what's happening with the Wyoming stablecoin. But you know, the thing that alarms me that no one's really talking about is because they had one of the requirements of being able to freeze assets. It means that the government would be able to program what happens to the stablecoin. So if you're being paid in the stablecoin, then they can manipulate that. They can freeze it. They can reduce the supply that's happening. You know, there's all sorts of government manipulation that suddenly happens, and it becomes a control mechanism as well. So it really the freedom fighter in me is very alarmed in regards to having such a token out there that everyone could possibly be using, be implemented in everyday banks, and people getting paid in it out there, and the government can freeze those assets and anything can happen to it. I've had friends that had gone through small claims courts, and because they weren't in the country at the time, the small claims court just sided with the person that was doing the suit, and they got the assets. They managed to get into the my friend's bank account and just take that money back out without him even being in the country. So you know, this will make those kind of situations easier for the law and the government to be able to actually get into your funds. So you know, it's nice that we're doing, you know, crypto stable coins and integrating into everyday life, but there's some really alarming stuff that could happen out of it as well. So you know, I personally think this is a godsend, because on Cardano, native tokens can't be freezed. Of course, we got ways of doing that now, but you know, they've gone for an option where the government's in control.
Yeah, and it's I forget the term. Different governments were looking into digital currencies. What's the
BDCs?
Yes, that it's no different to them. If it's an asset that can be frozen on chain, then to me, why bother going onto a blockchain if it's just going to be basically the same thing? That if you can come in and freeze the asset, it doesn't matter how decentralized the chain is or how anything is out there. If the token can still be frozen at some stage by one central entity, then that defeats the purpose of having a stablecoin. Yeah, CBDC. That's what I was trying to think in my head. Yeah, that's, to me, it's no better than any of that. So I don't know.
Yep. Central bank digital currency, for those that don't know the terminology.
Yeah, couldn't think of it there in my head, but that was what I was thinking. It's the exact same as that. It's just on a blockchain to say it's on a blockchain. But if you can freeze it, then people can come in and take the assets whenever they want.
Yeah, and you know, I just find that so alarming. So you know, people are like, "Oh, Cardano didn't get it." It's probably a good thing. Anyway, we've covered all of our topics, Paul. And I think, let me just check this last poll here. You won it again. All right.
Clean sweep.
I'll get you a trophy or something.
I
don't
went for
know.
the unpopular option in that one, I thought.
Yeah, no. What the hell, guys? Like the Ledger Nanos, Ledger Nano Plus.
Well, Ledger Nano is
They can-
actually still safe, but
Okay, so yeah, the old ones are safe. So Ledger Nano S, Ledger Nano Plus, or any of the other devices, they can get your seed phrase, guys. What's going on here? Like, why did you
right,
vote
it's
for
done.
that?
Just close the poll off. It's done. You're not going to win it now.
Yeah, it's closed. All right. Paul wins 3 out of 3 rounds. You win the top 5 tokens, the top 3 Catalyst proposals, and popular hardware device. Okay. All right, guys.
I think
we'll
if it
come
was a
back
boxing
in the
match,
future for this.
it'd be different. I think. I think you probably get the win there. I've seen some of your training videos. I've never been in a boxing match, so I think you definitely get the win there. I'll give you that one.
My next fight is on the 13th of December.
Nice.
Just been booked in. It was a last minute thing, so it will happen. 2.5 week fight camp for me. Wish me luck.
Best of luck.
That's hard. That's hard. All right. Shall we wrap it up, Paul?
Yeah, sounds good. Look, thanks very much for the invite. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed the conversation over and back. Hopefully people watching enjoyed it too, but I definitely did. I love these kind of streams that are just chatting about different aspects and seeing what's going on.
Yeah. I didn't break out into a major coughing fit. So I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you need to get
Awesome,
rid of that
Paul.
before the boxing.
I do. I'll let you go on with your day. And everyone in the live stream, if you haven't yet, go to Paul's channel. Links are in the show notes. I will put them in with the timestamps. Go over to Paul's channel, give him a like, give him a subscribe and a follow. He does some awesome content. Check out that BitcoinOS interview as well. It's going to be interesting, Paul. Good luck with that one.
Yep, sure is. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it.
All right. And hit that thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell on your way out. And I'll see you guys in another live stream. Hopefully we can get more people on too.
Cheers, guys.